A very good morning to you. It's exactly 22 minutes after 7 o'clock. Now, nearly half of the female workforce are dissatisfied with their current positions. They're dissatisfied about how they work as well as where they work. That's according to a Working Women in SA report. It says 92% of women have a strong desire to work and 78% strive to professional advancement. But women remain underrepresented in the labour force. Let's discuss this with Phillipa Geard, founder of RecruitMyMom. Phillipa, so good to have you with us this morning on the South African Morning. Tell us about the Working Women in SA report and some of the highlights that came out of the interactions that were had with various women and actually who these women are.
Thank you, Tammy. So let me tell you a little bit about the report. So what we did was we really set out to understand what the effects are of changing economic conditions in South Africa, as well as changing work arrangements in South Africa on the female workforce. And so we set out to do this research, and we were fortunate enough to get over 2,400 responses, which is one of the largest studies in South Africa into this group of women. Who they are is they're between the ages of 18 and 64. They are educated. They all have a matric or above education, and they're actively wanting to participate in the economy. So that's what we set out to do, and that's who they are. Thanks, Tammy.
The level of dissatisfaction that came out of this report is quite noteworthy. Could you give us a bit of background and perhaps some reasons why the levels of dissatisfaction were so high?
Yeah, sure. So what we're seeing in the report is that you have a highly skilled female workforce. We're actually seeing in the data and around, normal statistics that we have in South Africa is that women are, first of all, becoming more educated. More females are leaving and entering tertiary institutions. And yet, as one looks up into and also entering the workforce, then you start to look into the higher management positions within, for instance, you have visuals of the JSE, and you only have 15% of women at executive level. And so one needs to look at the middle and say, well, how is this happening? You've got more women leaving universities that are educated, more women entering the workforce that are educated, yet as you look up, there's far less of them. And so what we're seeing, and this is some of the highlights that came out of the report, is that you have some considerable barriers to growth that women are highlighting. Barriers like lack of internal opportunities, the lack of mentoring and networking, inflexible work arrangements, and pay gaps. You also have a look at the types of benefits that companies are offering, and sometimes there's a mismatch. And another thing that came out of the study was that the economic drive for women at the moment is enormous. You have 80% of women having dependents, many of them 38% sole income earners. We've got more female-headed households in South Africa than male-headed households, so they're very financially driven. But you have this pay gap, in addition to which women are wanting to work in a more hybrid manner. So there may be a perception that actually, particularly with mothers, they want to work remotely. Well, actually, our research shows that the majority of women, no matter the age, no matter the stage of life, they actually want to work more in a hybrid manner. So you've got this tension happening between companies saying, well, we want you back in office full time, and an educated workforce that wants to work that says, actually, in order for us to manage everything that we're doing, we would like to work in a hybrid manner. In addition to which, we actually want to work full time. We're not looking for part-time work necessarily. Some are, but not the majority are looking for full time because of the economic pressures. And those are just some of the highlights that were coming out of this report.
That's quite interesting that you say that, Phillipa, that women are saying that they want to work full-time, but they want a hybrid, more flexible working environment. So it's women really wanting to, quote-unquote, have it all, if you wish, wanting to work full-time, but also wanting to be able to take care of perhaps their other responsibilities, whether they are mothers or wives or whatever the case may be, and looking for more of a holistic approach to how their time is spent, but not wanting to lose in any area of it. Is this what you are basically summarizing?
Yes, that is what we're seeing. We're seeing that there is enormous economic pressure on women at the moment, in addition to which we know from research that women hold the majority of the household responsibilities. And what they're saying to us through this research is the way we will optimally work, the way we can optimally work is in a more hybrid manner. And so what we're saying to employers is, take this report that we've written and see it as a strategic opportunity to re-look your forward-thinking strategy on what you're going to do to grow your female pipeline. We know that there are going to be more females entering the workforce that are educated, even across STEM. And so if you're going to be able to grow them into senior management, you've got to look at all the different stages that women are going through. And in the report, we break it down by, for instance, age or dwelling type. And you'll see there are some nuances in there, Tommy, as to what people are looking for. And it's a dialogue. It's a dialogue about, you're a valuable resource. We have a skills shortage in South Africa. You are educated. We want to retain you. How best do we do this? And so this report allows employers to really unpack, how do we honestly have these conversations about retaining female talent so that we can get them into the executive levels at the end of the day.
And I think you really are staying true to the name of, or rather the ethos behind your name, which is Recruit My Mom. You know, recruitment speaks to the work environment, to professionalism, and then my mom to, you know, women who are mothers. So all of that encompassed in one. Thank you so much for your time, as well as the insight that you've shared with us this morning, Phillipa. That's Phillipa Geard, founder of Recruit My Mom, talking about the Working Woman SA report. And she recommends that employers actually look at that report. How can they retain the skills that women bring to the table?